The Boston Bruins have revealed their new jersey. Friend of the show, Dominic Tiano, did some digging, and it looks like the Bruins are trying to acquire Issac Howard, along with almost every other team in the league. And Don Sweeney gave some updates ahead of the draft. I'm going to discuss all this in the latest episode of Bruins Diehards. So buckle up, Bruins fans. I'm here to give you the latest info on your beloved Boston Bruins. If you've been liking my Bruins content, please leave me a like and subscribe. If you've already done so, thank you, and let's get into it. I will get to the Issac Howard stuff, but I first wanted to talk about the new look Bruins jerseys and that they are now 100% the leaked jerseys we saw in the CBC episode. Right off the bat, it looks like the Bruins aren't in fact going to name their captain just yet, and even showed off both Pastrnak and McAvoy with new jerseys with A's on them. As Marco Sturm mentioned, he is in no rush to name his captain, but he could do it at training camp, or he could wait all year. Some NHL insiders think the Bruins might go the whole season without a captain, but some think they'll name it soon, so it's anybody's guess at this point. The Bruins are very secretive and even waited until the last minute to name Marchand previously and had to give fans a free upgrade path at the Bruins Pro Shop to put the C on his jersey because so many people already had his new jersey with an A. I have made my thoughts known many times that I think Pastrnak will be named the next captain of the Boston Bruins. Not because he scores the most points, but because he's a leader on and off the ice. I'm not saying McAvoy isn't, but I truly feel Pastrnak stepped it up so much last season and took the reins after Marchand was traded. I know it isn't fair to McAvoy as he was injured at the time, but that's the hands he was dealt. Pastrnak showed poise and leadership after the majority of the leadership core, including Brad Marchand, the captain, was traded at the deadline. Pastrnak had zero issues being the face of the team to the media, and I think that went for the room as well. But I can't speak to that. They could very well go the whole season with two assistant captains and choose a captain next season. Honestly, if they choose McAvoy, it's a good choice too. They've got an embarrassment of riches right now with Pastrnak and McAvoy as the potential captains. Now let's take a look at these jerseys and what has changed. Gone is the outline spoke B, and they've gone back to what the look from the 80s, which is the Bruins logo I grew up with. It's the one right here. This is pretty much the logo they've gone with. They've gone with a new shoulder patch, but only on one shoulder of the jersey, which I'm not a big fan of. I think of having it on both shoulders adds more symmetry to the jersey, and I wonder if the change can be made in the future to put both shoulder patches on it. Or, you know what? Just buy the shoulder patch, send it to a stitcher, and have them stitch the other shoulder patch on, because the one shoulder patch it honestly looks weird. It's a different look, but it's just throwing me off. I've seen some comments on socials that suggest the empty shoulder is more for ads, which I'm not a big fan of. Or if the Bruins are in the playoffs, you can put the Stanley Cup logo there instead of having it crowding in the front of the logo with the sponsorship logo. We saw that this year in the Stanley Cup Finals, especially on McDavid's jersey. He's got the letter, he's got the ad, and then he had the Stanley Cup logo there, and it looked terrible. Regardless, I think you need both shoulders to have a patch. And I understand I'm starting off with something bad, but I truly, truly love these jerseys. I want to ram that home, but I do need to critique them. I would love to see the jersey up close to get a better look at the collar and the jersey itself, because I like a gold collar on a black jersey, and they don't have that. It's a full black collar, and on the white jersey, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of these jerseys. The white jersey has like a half black collar, and then the big sleeves. I actually really like the white jersey almost more than the black. I'm not sure which one I'm leaning to going to get. I'm going to be going to the Hockey Hall of Fame later on this week, and I might actually, well, not might, I hope they have the new jerseys there. I'll take pictures of them if they do, and I hope to buy one. If you go onto the Bruins Pro Shop right now, you actually have to click on this link to even just get an update on when they're going to have them, which is very interesting because as we saw in the leaked video way back in the day, we know they've been printing these things for a while. Stitching these things for a while. So I'm really hoping we get to see them soon. You can buy a t-shirt right now with the logo, but I kind of think that they already had t-shirts and everything made up with that logo from the Centennial because it doesn't look that much different. I've been waiting for this rebrand for years, and I thought I was getting it during the Centennial season as the Centennial jerseys were such a hit with fans. I also had heard that we were getting this a long time ago. I'm talking about like 2020. I heard that I was going to get my way with my jersey, especially I think it was Ty Anderson who interviewed Bergeron one time, and he said that he wanted to go back to those 80s era jerseys. And then we got the reverse retro when we had the gold jersey with the old style Bruins logo. And I thought, wow, we might be getting it. And we finally are now. I do like these jerseys more than the jerseys they wore from the last couple of seasons. And I'm also happy it drew inspiration from the 80s jersey, which I have here. This is my dad's jersey from back in the day. from the 1980s. 1979 and 1980 to be exact. Boston Bruins jersey. And I think that has a lot to do with why I like that jersey. It's got the meth bear on the shoulder. Unfortunately, we don't get the meth bear anymore. I'll live without that, though. I'm okay. They have the white outline on the numbers and the letters on the back, giving it a two-tone look, which I'm a fan of. Like I said, this is my dad's jersey, and as you can see, here is the two-tone. You've got the two-tone, you got the gold with the white, and same on the numbers. They're literally just going exactly back to this. I think it's going to stand out. I'm debating on what I should get. Let me know in the comments. I'm either going to get a Pasternak, even though I have one of the Adidas ones. I don't have a McAvoy, so it's either going to be a Pastor or a McAvoy. I haven't decided. The jerseys look almost identical to the ones from the 80s, minus the meth bear on the shoulder. Like I mentioned before, the stripes are pretty much in the same spot. The stripes on the arms are pretty much in the same spot, and the colors are different. The ones from the 80s had a gold collar, and these ones have a solid black collar. But they pretty much gone right back to the inspiration. They put out a video today with one of my favorite actors, played in one of my favorite movies, which is Back to the Future, with Michael J. Fox, talking to Cam and talking about going back to the 80s. They put out a teaser the day before. This jersey was leaked. They had no choice, but I appreciate the Bruins PR for going through everything they did. They did a great job today, and kudos to them on throwing out this jersey because, honestly, it was already leaked, but they did a great job of generating a little bit of excitement out of them. I know some people will be in the comments saying they don't care about the jerseys. That's fine. I'm a jersey guy. I like NHL jerseys. I like NHL logos. I like that kind of stuff. So for me, this is exciting stuff. They've gone away with the Bruins logo on the pants and have replaced it with the words Boston Bruins instead in this new font that they've done, which they had during the Centennial game. Now, I want to say I'm a huge fan of the new look, but I was a little bit disappointed to find out we're not going with the gold socks next season. And they will be the black socks on the home jerseys. But maybe we'll get gold socks on the away jersey, which is going to be white. Or there's also rumors that, NHL might switch and might have the teams wearing white at home. We'll see. But I truly hope that the Bruins go out and get some gold socks and at least just wear it for a couple games. Or maybe we haven't seen the new third jerseys. Like, believe it or not, we're getting third jerseys. We've also got the Stadium Series. We're going to be getting a bunch of new Bruins jerseys this year, and I'm very interested to see what we get from the Stadium Series. I can only hope that I get some of the things that I said that I want, but I want to hear from you. Do you care about the new jerseys? Do you like the look of the new jerseys? Are you going to buy one of these new jerseys? Just let me down below. Like I said before, I'm kind of a jersey hound here. I kind of like them. The next thing I want to touch on that was brought to me by my friend Dominic Tiano. He wrote a great article on it, and I'm going to leave the link in the description down below, and that's about Issac Howard. Dom asked around to find out almost every team around the league, except maybe 2 or 3 of them, have inquired about Issac Howard. He followed up to ask if those teams, any of them were the Boston Bruins, and instead, he got a no comment. And to me, no comment means yes, the Boston Bruins are in. You either would say, no, the Boston Bruins are not in on that, or you say no comment. Who is Issac Howard, you might ask? Well, let me tell you. Issac Howard is a dynamic, puck-friendly left winger known for his elite skating, posture, slick stick handling, and deceptive shooting angles. Elite Prospects Draft Report highlights his ability to push knees past toes, maintain strong posture through dekes, and use his top hand to maneuver in tight spaces. He sees the ice well, he is willing to crash the net, and he brings a mix of goal scoring and playmaking traits that have earned praise from scouting reports. In his junior season at Michigan State in 24-25, Howard exploded with 52 points, 26 goals, and 26 assists in just 37 games, an impressive 1.41 points per game. He led the Big Ten in scoring, was named Big Ten Player of the Year, and earned first-team All-American honors, and won the prestigious Hobey Baker Award as the nation's top college player. Having been part of the U.S. National Team Development Program and World Junior Championship teams, Howard showed up in key moments on the world stage. During the 2024 World Juniors, he tallied 7 goals and 2 assists in 7 games, helping the U.S. take gold. Howard was selected 31st overall in the 2022 NHL entry draft by Tampa. Currently remains unsigned. Under the NHL, NHLPA, CBA, Tampa holds his rights until 2026. If they fail to sign him by then, he becomes an unrestricted free agent, and the Lightning would receive a second-round draft pick as compensation if anybody signed him. It's kind of like the Jimmy Vesey thing from way back in the day when he signed with the Rangers, and we all thought he was coming to Boston, and we thought he was the second coming of Jesus, and he turned out to be a bottom 6 player. Totally different, though. Like, Issac Howard is very, very good. Vesey was he was all right. Despite Tampa's efforts to sign him after college season, negotiations, they've hit an impasse. Julien Brisebois has been open about the disconnect. Howard wants the freedom to choose his best team fit, and both parties have not seen eye to eye on his role or his development path. It's either go to Syracuse of the AHL or directly to the NHL. Brisebois even commented he values the opportunity to choose the club that he believes is the best fit for him right now, and it's unlikely they will sign him. It is widely known now that Tampa Bay are shopping him. The rumor asking price for Tampa is they're looking for draft capital, pretty much a first-round draft pick, and they've traded the majority of theirs. Tampa doesn't have a first-round pick in 2025, 2026, or 2027, according to Puckpedia. Philadelphia Flyers have 3 first-round draft picks, but this year's draft crop isn't exactly the best. So the Bruins have 2 first-round picks in 2026 because they got one from the Brad Marchand deal. The longer Tampa Bay waits to trade Howard, the lesser his value becomes, and the chance of getting a first-round pick dwindles. So the odds are that they're probably going to trade him actually by the draft, is my guess. They're either going to trade him by the draft because they want to get a pick in this year's draft, or they'll trade him by the draft because they want to pick in next year's draft. And I honestly think if you're Tampa, you'd probably want to pick in next year's draft. It's just a deeper crop. Based on Howard's play, he's worthy of first-round pick. But are the Bruins or other teams willing to give one up without the certainty of signing him? I would think if Tampa wants to move Howard sooner rather than later, they will allow teams to speak with him in hopes of getting a deal done. Howard's biggest issue with Tampa was they didn't see eye to eye in his development. Howard spoke to Spitting Chicklets podcast, saying, "I just feel like with me and Tampa, I guess we didn't see eye to eye the same way I thought we would. It wasn't a situation where I was demanding to step right into the NHL. It wasn't anything like that. It just didn't necessarily work out." In Boston, there's room to grow and the opportunity to actually be in the top 6. Both Merkulov and Lysell tried to fill that gap last year in the top 6. It didn't work out. Lysell will take another shot at it this season, but Howard has a larger upside than Lysell, and frankly, he's a better player. I know some would say the Bruins shouldn't trade the pick they got for the Marchand deal to Tampa, but Howard is available this year and would be a top 10 pick anyway, so I would think he's worth a trade if the Bruins ultimately want to deal a pick for Howard. Ultimately, I think this is what all boils down to in the end. I'm sure there are many teams willing to give up a first to get him, but it's all about the player signing with that team and not walking away for nothing. Boston will have to get in line and will have to sell themselves for Howard to pick them. Hopefully, Howard does pick the Bruins because he instantly upgrades their prospect pool and their top 6. I want to hear from you, though. What do you think about the possibility of Issac Howard being a Boston Bruin? The last thing I want to discuss is Don Sweeney met with the media and had a couple things to say, but in the end, not much of an update ahead of the NHL draft. Because I've amassed a lot of this in my comments, I will start on an update on Morgan Geekie's contract. Don Sweeney said, "It's been constant communication. Are we on the doorstep? I don't think so. But that can change with one phone call. Sometimes we're working in a time frame and you get a deal done right away, and other times you sort of push it on the back burner to what everybody else is focused on. It doesn't mean my intention is not on Morgan and being able to close a deal. We have time in that regard, so I'm not concerned about it." At the end of the day, I think a deal will get done, and the Bruins want to bring him back. I know some people say the Bruins could package him in a trade, but I don't know why you'd want to move a 26-year-old that got 33 goals last year and is an RFA, so you have all the control. I also think you'd need to sign him if you want to maximize his value if you did move him. As a Bruins fans, we know how this story ends. If both sides can't reach a deal, then they go through arbitration. And then the Bruins end up with 1 or 2 year deal and the player with sour taste in his mouth. I truly hope that doesn't happen this time, but only time will tell. The Bruins don't seem to learn, and whenever they go to arbitration, it seems someone's feelings get hurt. Next, I want to touch on Sweeney speaking to the development of Dean Letourneau. Sweeney admitted that maybe he shouldn't have jumped directly to college from prep. This is a lesson learned, but what is done is done, and now you have to work hard as a hockey club to help him with his development. By no means does this mean Letourneau is a bust, but it means he struggled last year, and the Bruins know why. Sweeney did mention that they're trying to get a deal done with UFA Henry Yukihiro, as they have need on the right side. He did not mention any other UFAs and only Yukihiro. I could go either way with this. I don't think it hurt you in that position, but I would rather an upgrade there as well. Sweeney also mentioned the Bruins are not looking for short-term fixes to fill their needs, which tells me if they do make a trade, they're looking for players who have term. He didn't tip his cap to anything imminent or what he's looking for. He's very tight-lipped, and I found compared to last season and last offseason for that matter, which I thought it was nice to see. I thought the front office was a tad unprofessional last year, and the offseason let their emotions get the best of them far too often. I have no doubt Sweeney is calling about a right shot defenseman and some scoring help, but he doesn't need to tell us that, and because we all know. Who he's calling about is anyone's guess. The last thing I thought worth mentioning from the press conference is the 7th overall pick, because there's a lot of reports the Bruins are willing to move that pick or move down in the draft. The last part makes absolutely no sense to me, as this is not a deep draft and falls off a cliff after pick 10, and you might as well throw darts at a board to make picks from there. Sweeney said, the team scouts feel really comfortable with where they're picking at in the top 7. We've had a lot of discussions over the last month and a half with potential options with the pick, and we're still exploring as of today and probably as of Thursday as well. We feel very comfortable with making a selection, but we're going to continue to see what might present between now and then. Followed up by saying something that I've wanted to hear out of his mouth for years. We're taking the best player available. Far too often, I felt that hasn't been the case. They either reach or they take a player from that's going to be a bottom 6 guy, or we get the 2015 draft where they went with a list even though they changed positions and still pick guys that they would have picked in the second round. 2015 was a disaster. When looking at the rankings now, they're most likely going to take Jake O'Brien, which I'm happy about, and spoke about him in a draft video. I know some have said they can get James Higgins, but I keep getting told most likely he's going to be gone. The draft is Friday, so we'll know soon enough. But my only hope is they use the pick instead of trading it and actually take the best player available, and they don't do something like that leaves their head scratching, as they always do. Just take the best player. I want to hear from you. What do you think of what Sweeney had to say? One more thing. I've been doing this for just over a year now, literally just like a couple weeks over a year now, and the community has grown, and everybody watching these videos and people in the comments and people in the Discord, you've been all amazing. And just recently, I don't know if you noticed, I have a new logo. That's thanks to Roxy YPT. Unprompted, just sent me an email, sent me the new logo, and it looks amazing. The Bruins did a new redesign, and I'm doing a new redesign just on our logo, and I can't be happier. And honestly, I can't thank the community enough, and I can't thank everybody who watches the video enough. So I just wanted to give Roxy YTP a huge shout out, a thank you, and honestly to the rest of the community and everybody else that, comments, watches the videos and everything. Thank you so much. That's a wrap on today's video. To stay up to date on all the news surrounding the Boston Bruins, please subscribe and drop me a like. If news breaks surrounding the Boston Bruins, be sure to check out the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, thank you, and I'll see you next time.